Come on, really? Who does that?
Hello, Oshawa Senior Community Center 55 plus. My name is Dan McDonald. I'm Jennifer McDonald's husband. Some of you may know me better as on YouTube as Pop Can Dan, and that's why I'm here today. I want to talk to you about metal detecting. Give you a quick little round course on how it goes. So I got into metal detecting about 26 years ago, and as a youngster, I've always been fascinated by treasure hunting and things like that. So I eventually got into it, and it's been a hobby I've loved ever since. It's an amazing hobby. It's very good for you. It gets you off the couch. It gets you out into the field. You don't realize how many steps you've taken while you're walking. It's amazing. That's the number one thing about metal detecting is the exercise that you get. It's phenomenal. So let's do a quick rundown of metal detecting gear, okay? So what you want to do, where can I buy a metal detector? It's quite simple. You can buy them at almost any, what do they call them, box stores like Walmart. I've seen them in Walmart. I've seen them in Canadian Tire sells them. But there's a place for local people here in Toronto, in the Toronto area. It's called Radio World. They sell the biggest selection of metal detectors out there. So the one I have here today is it's more top of the line, but you can get an introductory detector very cheap. So this is my metal detector. This is the box, the electronic box, the shaft, the coil. It's all put together nicely. I have wireless headphones here on this one. What I also have here is a shovel. This is now I'm going to talk to you quickly about the difference between a shovel and a hand digger. There's a difference between the two.
What's the difference?
Okay, I'll tell you the difference now. When you're in a field, a farmer's field, like over there, you want to use the shovel. You can use the shovel, but when you're in a park, a groomed grass or somebody's lawn, somebody's property, this is what you want to use. And it's all about optics. You don't want somebody walking by on the sidewalk and thinking that you're digging a 6-foot trench with a shovel. But when you walk with this in your hand, I walk with this like this backwards, and nobody sees it. People just think I'm going like this. This is what you want to do. It's nice and discreet. It doesn't look like you're digging a big giant hole in the park, and optics is the biggest part of it. All right, so I talked about detector. Once you've dug a plug, it's called a C-shaped plug. You dig 3/4 of the way around in a circle, and then you flip the plug over. And once you do that, now I have a smaller metal detector that I turn on, and I go around in the hole and I find it. Watch, once I get close to my ring, see it goes off. So that's once you get a little more into metal detecting, that's a little more, a little more expensive equipment, I guess we'll say. If you're detecting on the beach, you don't really need that. All you need is your foot while you're doing that, or a sand scoop, which I have at home. I didn't bring the sand scoop, but I have a pouch here as well that I carry all. These are just leftovers from my last find. I didn't empty them. So yeah, okay, so the biggest part of metal detecting, even more, I always said anybody can pick up a metal detector and swing it and get a beep. Anybody can do that. But there's the biggest part of metal detecting. It's called the code of ethics. And following the code of ethics is the biggest thing, all right? It's what keeps the hobby going. Say you go to a park and I dig a plug. I flip over the plug, I get a signal, I find my target, I put the plug back. It's like the camping code, they call it. You leave it cleaner than how you found it. So when you walk away, nobody will ever know that you were there, all right? That's number one. Number two, you always take your trash with you. When you find trash, you have to take it with you. You want to, like I said, leave it cleaner than how you found it. The biggest thing is how you conduct yourself out in the field, all right? I call it being an ambassador to the hobby. Being a good advocate and ambassador to the hobby is the biggest thing. You want to promote the hobby. You don't want people going, oh, there's a detector. He yelled at me the other day when I went near him. No, when people come up and they have a question, you answer the question, because most of the time they're curious and they want to know, hey, wow, what are you finding? And I take the time and I stop and I talk to people, and that's how you promote the hobby. I know the odd person in the past who has somebody will approach them and they yell at them and say, get away, just stop bugging me. That's not how you promote the hobby. All right, you don't.
Danny, what if you want to go to a really old farmhouse that you see, you know, at the side of the road, and you really think there'll be good stuff there? And is there good stuff in those places?
Right. So that's what they call a permission. Getting a permission is also one of the biggest code of ethics and in the hobby. You want to make sure that where you're detecting, you're allowed to be detecting there. Most public parks and stuff, I know in the greater Toronto area, you're not allowed in public parks technically with a metal detector. You're allowed on beaches and stuff like that. But around here, you're allowed, yeah, you can go in parks and things like that, that's fine. But when you go to, you want to know what property you're on, and maybe you want to get permission to go, you've been driving by this house and you go, wow, you know, that house has been there for 150 years. Maybe there's really nice old relics on that property. So what I normally do is I go up, I ring the doorbell, and I tell them, I'm truthful, and I tell them exactly what I'm doing. I say, hey, you know what? I've been driving by your house for so many years, and I do metal detecting, and I would love to see what you have on your property. I'd love to be able to share that with you if you're interested. I'd love to show you the history of this property, and anything I find, you have the choice if you want to keep it or not. It's up to you. And it's all about just, you have to get permission though, the number one thing. And when I talk about permission, I also talk about trespassing. When you don't get permission, you're trespassing. And trespassing comes not only with, it's criminal, but you can get a fine, and it's a black eye on the detecting community. Really not good. So you always want to make sure that you have permission where you're going, that you are indeed, you're either in a public place or you're on somebody's property and you have permission.
Danny, can you show us, we have our new metal detector from wherever we've got it. What do we do?
Okay, first thing before we do anything, put on gloves. I'm going to tell you why you put on gloves. You would not believe how much sharp things are under the ground. Pieces of sharp metal, glass. It's amazing. I see so many people cut themselves online and stuff, so I always wear gloves. So important. So I'm not gonna turn the detector on, so you're gonna hear beeps and stuff like that, but I'm gonna show you the proper etiquette on how to actually swing a metal detector. So let's say I'm in a park, okay? I'm not using the shovel, but I have my detector and I have my shovel. So I hold my shovel like this. So my detector's on, and you want to swing it just touching the blades of the grass, back and forth. You can't come up like this. When you go up like that, you're losing your target area. You want to keep it flat on the grass the entire way. And you always, as you walk forward, you want to overlap by maybe an inch or two from your last sweep. So watch, when I swing like this, I want to overlap just a little bit as I'm walking. And you're going to hear all kinds of beeps and different things. The more you know your detector, the better, the easier you'll know what target you want to dig. So let's say I got a target here, okay? I go over and it's beeping right there. I got a good signal right there. That sounds good. That's the one I want to dig right there. So what I normally do, I'll put my foot just behind it. I'll put my detector down. So now I'm going to dig a plug. I'm going to show you, I talked about the C-shaped plug. So I'm going to go like this. Oh, there's a rock there. So just a C-shaped plug. Now just remember, folks, I don't actually have a signal here, so so it's in the shape of a C. I flip it over. It's still attached. That's very important. You don't want to kill the grass. All right, so once I've got that, now I pull, because I can't see my target right away. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it might be in the plug, or sometimes it's still in the hole. I turn this on, and I go around the plug. I check in the hole. Oh look, there's actually something in the hole. There's actually something in the hole. How funny is that?
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah, this is a real dig. So also, I don't have it here, but a lot of times I'll put a little piece of a towel down and I'll put the excess dirt on the towel.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it in there.
You see it?
It's right there.
Where?
Right in there. I see something.
No, I think it's a little deeper.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bigger piece. When they did construction around here, there's probably a bigger piece of.
Well, now we got to see.
No, because you know it's gonna wind up being a big piece of iron, and I'm gonna make a big mess trying to dig it out.
Probably a diamond ring.
So watch what I'm doing. All the grass goes back in the hole, and like I said, I recommend putting a towel down. Put the grass on the towel. So when I turn this back, all right, I stomp it back. I do this, and I always stand back up and step on it for good measure. Give it a little sweep like that. Now take a look at that. Do you see that?
Nope, I see nothing.
There you go. That's metal, that we call that metal detecting 101. Quick little course. I do go further, more into depth on other videos and things like that, but that can get you started. And if you ever have questions or anything about metal detecting, always go on YouTube and watch videos there. And it's all you want to learn. You want to learn the right way when you go out into the field. All right, Pop Can Dan signing off. See you later.